And then we have an ambassador who's sort of a confidant of former presidents, et cetera, and then he doesn't want the truth to come out. And so you get a little battle over, are you doing the right thing? Why are you here accusing the government, accusing the Bush administration? And this, I think, adds to the ability for people to start to relate, because this is what you would see on TV. You wouldn't just see everybody line up, give their testimony, and then all of a sudden, all right, that's it, new investigation's over. They'd be fighting. There are plenty of people that do not want the truth to come out, and if we were not to represent that in the movie, we would not be doing our job. We have more information in there that rebuts the new information, because we want to show these are the things that we've been running up against. When you talk about nanothermite, there are people that come back with some very strong arguments about, why there was no nanothermite or this or that about the nanothermite. But the truth comes through. But we have to show it in a balanced way, otherwise it's a propaganda piece. And we're doing this in a patriotic way. We're thinking that, we're the patriots that are coming along and just trying to open people's eyes up. So it's not propaganda. It comes from one side, so to say, the alternative side. But as David and some other people have said, there's only one conspiracy. That's that 19 guys and a guy in a cave did this. So those of us on the outside are really the anti-conspiracy theorists.
Well, that's exactly right. Exactly. The most insane theory of them all is the official conspiracy theory that unfortunately the 9/11 Commission managed to come out with. So, and I hope that my own work in the past has helped to highlight some of that, but I certainly hope that this will have an even greater effect of really getting this information out. And as I say, there are so many people who avoid looking at this, and so it's good to have it in a different form. And again, with such a high talent quality artists and actors involved with this, just extremely exciting. Tell us about the reaction of some of these actors to the script after they've gotten a chance to read it.
Well, I went to see Ed Asner on February 1st last year. He was our litmus test. We had talked with him and about this. I said we, in this case, it was myself and David Griffin. And we said, when we're ready, I'll go to Ed. So I went to Ed, and within 10 minutes, he had his Rolodex out, and he was giving me Martin Sheen's number and John Hurd's number. And I felt, very relieved that a lot of the work I'd been doing, because he'd read the script before, was starting to, become fruitful. So I got in touch with Martin Sheen, and it was about a week or so before he left for England with his son, Emilio Estevez. They were releasing a film that Martin starred in that his son directed. And he said, get back to me. I'm going to read the script. Get back to me in a few days, which I did. And I asked him to play a certain role, and he agreed. And I said, can we promote this as such? And he said, yes. So, we had him involved, and John Hurd got on, and a whole bunch of others. And then I said, let's see if we can get Woody Harrelson. And I got in touch with people that represent him, and they gave me, they arranged for him to call Ed Asner. Ed is acting as a executive producer like myself. He's in charge of helping with talent. And we arranged for Woody to call from Toronto, where he was directing a play, to Ed's house. And he called, and it was on the speakerphone, and Ed was joking with them at first. I can't use the language, but he was joking with them, like, who's calling me? And so eventually we started telling about the movie, and then I got on the phone, and I explained much of what I've been explaining to you. And he said, you have to get in touch with this guy, David Ray Griffin. He knows everything. And I said, well, David and I have been working on the script a couple of years, and I'm calling to ask you to play him in the movie. He said, I'm in. I mean, that's how the response has been.
Woody Harrelson is David Ray Griffin? Am I missing something there?
Pardon me?
Did I misinterpret that? Are you saying Woody Harrelson as David Ray Griffin?
Yeah, Woody was in a very interesting movie. It was a documentary where they had some live actors playing people. This was called Man King. And there were some people that were like doctors that worked in Nanking and things that were going on in 1937. Of course, it's a very difficult time there for those people. And they made him look a little older, and he was a very dignified, speaking person. And he has that same look as David. I don't have any problem.
I see the look. I actually can see the look now that I think about it. But certainly the age difference.
There, and you're going to be very surprised, because I actually went about a month ago when he came out with his last film, Rampart, and I went to the screening. I was invited, even though myself and my two friends were like the first ones there. We got talking to people. By the time it came to get seated, there were no more seats. They had to find 3 individual seats, and they put me in the second row in the center. So after the movie was over, The actors come out to answer questions. I'm sitting with one person between me and Woody. Some lady yells out in the audience, "What are your future roles going to be?" And I yelled out to him. I said, David Ray Griffin, and he smiled and he shook his head and he said, "Get back in touch with Tracy, of course." So that's the lady I've been talking with. So it's just there's a serendipity around this project. I can't explain it any better than that.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of a fair number of listeners that we're all very much looking forward to this. So after the break, we'll come back with Howard Cohen and talk about how people out there can help to support this project and help to make sure that it does get launched into the stratosphere and seen by millions around the globe. So stay tuned right there. We'll be right back after these messages. Friends, welcome back. Welcome back to Corbett Report Radio. The final minutes here as we're talking to Howard Cohen about the forthcoming feature film, A Violation of Trust. And again, of course, for more information, please go to Actors and Artists for 9/11 Truth at aa911truth.org to find out more about this project and some of the other signatories to the Actors and Artists for 9/11 Truth petition. Again, just an incredible list of names there of people who really have put their careers on the line and put a lot at stake in attempting to help spread the word about 9/11 truth and what it really means and what matters about it. So, Howard, my hat's off to you for getting involved in this project and bringing it all together. So perhaps in the final few minutes here, we can just address how people can get involved with this project, how people can support it, how they can help to make sure that this does become a success.
Well, first, thank you again for inviting me and letting me speak my mind. People can also go to aa911truth.com, just in case they forget. A lot of people go com, and it shows up as well. We've come into some very interesting circumstances. We had two City Hall buildings that we were going to use to film the movie, and because of whatever the reasons were when they read the script, they never called us back. We've come across some other situations with certain vendors who, again, once they've read the script, didn't feel it was appropriate for them to get involved because they have big corporate customers like, big studios here that buy their services. So there's a little bit of a blockage in getting through, and, we're committed to making this. We're talking with an independent studio right now. I would almost like to hear this become the movie that was too hot for Hollywood to make to get us some notoriety. And I think that's true, though, because the distribution systems are controlled by big corporations, and, we have to be very careful with this movie. So we're trying to open up our coffers to whoever wants to help. We're offering, for people who want to help us with a $25 donation at the website, a DVD when the film comes out. And, whatever help we can get is definitely appreciated and is always helping with something or something else. That would be the most direct way people can help. The other way is to be open when they meet with people to try to, share some of the things that I've portrayed that's going to be in our movie, the simplicity. Don't get caught up in all these big details. There's a certain way that people have to be won over. And if you bombard them with just facts, it's not going to work because they've been bombarded for 10 years. There has to be a new approach, and I think the new approach is going to have to be much more in the healing fashion. I understand your pain, you understand my pain, but, how do we get past that? I think the concept of what they call truth commissions are things that have to be looked at as alternative ways to have an investigation that brings the truth out, heals the country, gives people a chance to step up, but doesn't have the vengeance of having to punish certain people who may have been more instrumental. But in the big picture, I'd rather have the truth than have certain people spend the rest of their lives in jail. So I'm trying to say that I think a more dignified approach would be to push for an investigation that offers the possibility of people who have a secret because they were told to do something they didn't realize was wrong at the time, whether they were flying an airplane or a firefighter who was told to shut up. I mean, a lot of these things are haunting a lot of people. There are a lot of people who would like to talk about their experiences and what they know about 9/11, and I think that kind of an approach, some kind of a truth commission that would make them feel they couldn't be prosecuted as long as they told the truth, would be an excellent way for us to proceed to open people up to the subject. Because there's still a lot of people who will stand by, you're either with us or without us philosophy that the Bush-Cheney people had, and, that this country has continued to stonewall anything that opposes the official story. We have to show them that we have hearts.
Exactly. It's the false dialectic that they set up to try to stop people from coming forward, and there are more people with information, and more people are waking up to this every day. So once again, aa911truth.org, actors and artists for 911truth.com. Howard Cohen, thank you again for your time tonight.
Thank you very much, James. Take care of yourself.